I basically told someone to write something down, write anything down, like a line of a stanza. And this is there. I'll finish with this poem that was written by a stranger, who was in all kinds of ways. So last summer I did the unthinkable. I was in a shop in London, and I spotted this green booklet. And against my better judgment, I'd been listening to a lot of Charlie XCX. And I thought it was quite funny because it's, Brat Summer Green. So I bought it. I wrote the word twat on the front. And instead of just making it, I kind of thought I would make notes or doodles, but it was much worse than that. I'd just watched Patterson by Jim Jarmusch, and I'd been clearly given the false impression that you can just write about anything and it's poetry. So that's what I did. I started writing poetry in here. So this is a video. There's actually a few poems from my time when I visited Berlin over the weekend, and I thought it'd be interesting / funny to see where my head was at many moons ago. But it's crazy. I've been looking at this stuff coinciding with the time that I went to Berlin to see a few friends. I've got a little bit of footage, so I thought we'd start with the first one. So as I was going to Berlin, obviously I bought this book. It was when I just met my partner, so there's some weird stuff in here. So this is the first one. Referring to Borough Market. Okay, the light is right there. Don't they see it? You're standing in it, but you don't see anyone. Last night was fun. I just got drunk. Just let you do your thing, funny little man. What have you done? You made your greatest insecurity fair play. So that's not a poem, that's just sentences. But basically, previously I'd just released, I'd met this person, and then I'd released a video where I referred to myself as a funny little man.
Always the right thing to do. Well, that was fantastic, wasn't it? But make sure you stick around until after the break, where I, George Ong, professional comedian and all-round man of great taste, decide who is 2024's funny little man.
All right, break for one.
I spent the whole summer being called funny little man by... It's not the funniest... Well... Anyway. Okay, so that was obviously I was in London, so I grabbed a flight. It was an absolute pain in the ass in the end to get there. Okay, so this is so once I got to Berlin, we obviously wanted to spend some time outside in the sun. It was beautiful, so you can't just drink all day, can you?
You thought you had made a mistake. You didn't, right? So I think it's now.
You could. We did on some days, but this day we went off to one of the central parks, play a bit of table tennis. And this one's called Phonons. The peal of the private bass line is curdled in the thick air and is layered with Arabic chanting and the crackling of sand and gravel on the wheels of buggies, and feet bubble into the scattered jangle of the football court fence. Sam is barely conscious. Matthias is unsure of what to do. And I'm so fucking hot. Basically, it was hot. The main thing you do when you go to Berlin is party. Oh wait, we should talk on that for a second. So... that was, two things made that poem. One, you get so hot, the only thing you can experience is sound, and kind of, I don't know, that heavy kind of thud in your head. So that was that, basically. That was, and the fact that I'd recently read Albert Camus' The Stranger, and all they do is kind of layer all those sensual ideas on top of each other. So when you go to Berlin, you go there to party, right? There's always the difficulty that you're not going to get into a club. And we have a friend who's very clear and principled on the fact that he will not allow himself to pay for a night out because he believes that, you should have a network of friends, and the network you have should result in, whatever you end up doing that day. So it was after a long day, in the heat. We'd been trying to figure out something to do, and we ended up at this kind of 50-year-old millionaire's party in his penthouse apartment. So I was walking through, and at the back, there was this kind of VIP section that, our mate had kind of wiggled his way into. So I was up there, there was like 12 people in there, they're all doing drugs, we're all boxed in. But obviously I was particularly autistic because I took out the little green book. And this is what I wrote. So it says, "It's coming from here. In the crow's nest, surrounded by the sea. Feathers on the shoulders of a marching man's costume. The absence of synthetic energy. Irritable bodies. unanswered crosswords, too many words for somebody not her. 25 down, tired. I forgot the answer. I can't forget the feeling of brain empty, lightning, and then the rest of the poem is unintelligible. My partner and I at the time, we were doing crosswords together, and that was the kind of like thing that was quite sweet at the time. But of course it becomes, I mean, all of these kind of little rituals, they become like an obsession. Well, not an obsession, but a compulsion. So like, we'd start a crossword, and if we didn't do the crossword, it felt like we were ignoring each other. So I was up there thinking about this crossword. But so was my good friend had just recently fallen in love. And there was this kind of weird energy in the air because, you know, if you fall in love, you kind of want it to be special and perfect and unique. And we both had that feeling at the same time. So we were both trying to share it, and we were both saying, well, we both got it. So there's this kind of strange tension, well, masculine fucking tension anyway. And I remember getting back and writing this in the morning. It was like 6 a.m. Voice messages. The strength of another man's love does not hold my own to ransom. Though for him, what he holds above, to me, might as well be random. We both found ourselves on the same blade, love and fear in tandem. And that was the only one I've ever written that rhymes. What if this goes wrong? And I think it's quite fun and beautiful. So that was Berlin. Let me know what you think of this series. I mean, I'm just going to leave this up on here, so I said I would do this, so I'm doing it, you know? That's the little green book. There are some other things in there. Oh, yeah. So there were post-it notes at the time of when we were up in that bird's nest that I was talking about, the crow's nest. There were post-it notes, and I obviously was really into writing at the time. I basically told someone to write something down, write anything down, like a line of a stanza. And this is there. I'll finish with this poem that was written by a stranger, who was in all kinds of ways. Okay. Fire, : if I was a bird, spaghetti. Okay. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye, guys. I was OddGog. Make the internet weird again. Okay. Peace.